TinkerCAD tips, yet another follow-up on the nuts and bolts that we've been working with. And the question here is, and what I'm going to show is, how do we make the bolts of these longer? Well, this is a rather simple thing to do using basic techniques in TinkerCAD. So here we have an example. This is a 3/8. Let's go ahead and we'll take the nut and we'll move this out of the way. We'll bring our bolt over here. Let's go ahead and flip this back over. Drop it to the work plane. Let's go ahead and ungroup this. Let's move this out of the way. All right, so now we have this center portion of it here that we want to make, let's say, 50 millimeters long. Now, a good way of measuring this 50 millimeters, let's go ahead and bring out a cylinder here. I'm going to hold Alt and Shift, and let's make this, say, 3 millimeters. And I'm going to click on this. I'm going to make it 50. All right. Now I'm going to take our work plane here, and I'm going to set it on the top of that head portion of this bolt. While we have this cylinder selected, I'm going to hit D to drop it to the work plane. Let's go ahead and slide this over here a little bit. That'll give us something to measure by. Going to go ahead and move the work plane back to its default. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and select on this portion of it that we've already made. This is the threads, and it has the center cylinder here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click Duplicate. I'm going to move my snap grid down to 1 millimeter, and holding the Control key, I'm going to cursor up. Let's zoom in a bit here. All right, now what I want to do is set my snap grid back to off, and I'm going to hold that Control key, and I'm going to move this one down a bit, and we're going to zoom in on this part of it here until those line up perfectly. There we go. And we've seen this before. This is called wave duplication. While this is still selected, I'm just going to hit Control D again, and once more. So now we have all of that that's taller than this 50 millimeters. Now I'm going to take this whole portion of it here. I'm going to take our work plane. I'm going to set the work plane on top of that cylinder. And while that whole shape is selected, I'm going to hit D to drop it to that work plane. I'm going to go ahead and slide this over here. And now let's go ahead and let's stretch that whole shape up so it cuts off all of that. There we go. Let's go ahead and move our work plane back to the default. Now we don't need this cylinder anymore. We have our 50 millimeters, so we can delete that. Now I can select all of these. We'll select all of that. We'll group those together. And what we're left with now is a 3/8 inch bolt where the shaft of this is now 50 millimeters. The head of this is, let's see here, this one is 5 millimeters. So if I click on this, this should be, there you go, 55 millimeters. The same could be done with this over here. If I go ahead and let's make that untransparent, let's ungroup that. We could do the same thing to this. I could take that center portion of it here. I could duplicate that. I could shift this up. Let's zoom in here. Let's get those lined up nice. There they go. All right, now I could take that nut, and let's say I wanted to make it taller. I could make it any height I wanted. I could then select those items, group those together. And now we have something like a connector nut. There you have it. Simple techniques in TinkerCAD. As always, like, follow, and share. Drop some comments, or if you have specific things you'd like to see me do tutorials on in TinkerCAD, you can DM those to me. All right, until next time, happy tinkering.